Hi, I'm Samantha Christie, and I'm one of the team members here at Wellness Foundation. I sat down with the ever knowledgeable Peggy Kraus to talk about her 50th Wellness Challenge 360. Please have a watch and listen. Hey, so I'm here with the wonderful Peggy Kraus, and this is actually your 50th Wellness Challenge 360 that you will be doing this evening, today.
Starts tonight.
So how does it feel to have done 50 of these?
Yeah, what a great feeling, really. To think that I've 50 is a lot of groups.
A lot of people that you've helped.
I think it's almost 700 people now.
Oh my goodness.
I've gone through the challenge. So this group will probably put me over 700.
That's incredible. I thought that we would do a little Q&A tonight to celebrate your 50th Wellness Challenge. And so my first question is, why do you enjoy this work so much?
I guess it's because I'm a research geek, and I love to read research. I read it on the weekends. I read it on vacation, and so I love to take what I learn from the research and put it into practice. So if somebody has a goal, and I think that I can apply a piece of research to help them move them towards their goal, it's like a win-win for me.
What kind of goals are most common? What do you see most people come here wanting to change or shift or be helped with?
Hands down, weight loss.
Yeah.
That's the most common goal. And it's always been, I guess when, 70% of the population is either overweight or obese.
Right.
That's the most common goal. There's also, I want more energy, that is common too, but weight loss hands down.
And then the cholesterol numbers might be high. There might be diabetes or pre-diabetes that you have a lot of experience with as well. So in terms of weight loss, what is the biggest amount of pounds that you've seen lost in the 7 weeks? Yeah.
In the 7 weeks, it's been 38 pounds.
Ah!
38 pounds for a man.
For a man, yeah. Men lose a little bit more easily. So
exactly. And for a woman, 25 pounds.
Wow.
So,
So how did they do that? They did, what sort of enabled them to have that much success?
I think that the ones who are most successful, they definitely read the book. They do the homework. They bring their questions to class. And by having read the chapter, at least skimmed the chapter in advance, they already have questions in their mind. So they bring them to class, they ask the questions, and putting into it determines what they get out of it.
Right.
So even though the ones who I know were not as adherent to what we encourage, they still did well. But the ones who do great are the ones who put a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I remember I had a fellow a while back, type 2 diabetes, and he told me, I asked him what he was doing, because he was doing so well, losing so much weight, and they were discontinuing medications, and beans and greens, he told me. All I eat is beans and greens. So that's what I say now, beans and greens, guys. You want to do really well? Beans and greens.
You can't lose with that.
No.
And what about for people that aren't super unhealthy, but they just want to feel better, or they just want sort of a boost of energy or wellness in their lives? They feel like they haven't really, they're sluggish, or they haven't been eating well, and they just want to kind of come here and have a kickstart. What kind of success do they end up having, and how does that go?
So they might not need to lose a lot of weight, or they might not have high cholesterol levels, but they inevitably increase their energy levels, and just they become sharper, or have clearer mind, and they benefit as well. So we used to, when I first started out, we had an elderly population. Say we had an older group.
It's getting younger now, isn't it?
Getting younger, yeah. And so we saw the change from less arthritis, less reflux, to now more energy, more just happier days.
Yeah, more clarity, more energy, feeling lighter.
Yeah, so the goals have shifted a little bit,
Yep.
but there's, still that weight loss goal. I guess no matter how old you are, you're aware of if you're carrying extra weight around and how unhealthy it is.
It's hard because we're bombarded with all of this unhealthy food and fast food. So it's easy to go down that path and kind of get addicted to those foods. So it's nice to come here and just be reminded or educated about like what is best for my body. What does my body really ultimately need and do the best on? Yeah. So what about medications? So are people really? I know. Are people really able to stop taking like cholesterol medication, for example, or diabetes medication?
So probably the two that are most popular to decrease or to eliminate from doing the wellness challenge is blood pressure medication,
right,
and diabetes related medication, because as you're losing weight, as you are decreasing inflammation, you're lowering blood sugar, all that, like those medications have to be stopped, or else their blood pressure will go so low that they will lose consciousness. Or the diabetes medications will bring the blood sugar down so low that they also, they start to sweat and they start to get confused, and that's a symptom of having too low blood sugar. So if the doctor doesn't adjust them promptly, it could be disastrous. But that's why we get the doctor's consent, so the doctor's aware of
monitoring if they're on medications. What about the cholesterol medication? Is that also?
Yes, we do see that the cholesterol medications are reduced, and some people have come off of them. But I have to say that the doctors are not as forthcoming with taking people totally off of cholesterol medications, and that has something to do with the guidelines that the medical community adheres to. So, but we just had somebody who we honored at the benefit, who came off of everything. He came off of I don't think he was on diabetes medication, but definitely cholesterol, blood pressure medication for reflux. I think he was on. He was off of all his medications, so he did really well. So there's definitely the medications. Throw them away when the doctor says it's time.
And it's so great. Food is the medication.
Yeah, exactly.
Plant-based diet is the medicine.
That's
right. I love that. Yeah. So have there been any surprises for you? Like somebody comes here and, I don't know, totally shocked you with whatever results they might have had? Or
I have to say that as the wellness challenge goes on during the weeks, I don't ask them about how much weight they're losing. I don't ask them about how they're doing. If they tell me, that's great, but I usually wait until graduation, until when they have the numbers.
And there's been enough time to really feel the full effect.
Right, but I have to say, a couple of years ago, I was evaluating the statistics that we collect, and the one number that blew me away was that the people who come to the Wellness Challenge with the lowest levels of energy, by the end of the 7 weeks, they were able to increase their energy by 210%. That is just incredible. That's only 7 weeks. Could you imagine a lifetime of this eating can do? In only 7 weeks, it was 210%. That was just like mind-boggling.
That's amazing. So, can you talk a little bit about how we have this new revamped Wellness Challenge 360 and sort of what more that entails? So we're kind of looking at the whole person now. We're not only talking about nutrition, right? But what else are we offering and helping support people in?
So the Wellness Challenge 360 has a big part for exercise. We're talking about not only doing exercise, but what can prevent you from doing exercise, what's going on in your mind, what excuses are you making. There's
group
more
support to get active.
Yes. There's more on stress management. Now that over the years we've learned that stress really is a larger part of health and well-being than we thought. So we do mindful meditations. There are activities that we we forward to the participants in email, and they're online, and they're on the Facebook page. So there's a bigger part of that. And we pay more attention to just being grateful, and just being, that we don't live on the Gaza Strip, like I would tell my kids all the time. Like, this is a beautiful community that we live in, and so we're all blessed. And so that, and we have some emphasis on good sleep and the food. So it's all in there. Good social connections.
It is. The group support is really nice to be able to talk with each other about what you're feeling and what you're going through, and what's working for one person, and someone else can hear that and take that in. Why should somebody take Wellness Challenge 360?
They should take Wellness Challenge 360 because you don't know what's possible until you take a program like this. For instance, you don't know how good you can feel until you actually try it. So you might feel that you're doing well and you're feeling okay and life can't be better, but how do you know until you try this? And the other end of the spectrum is that if you're not feeling well, what do you got to lose? What you're doing is not working.
Such a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So just do it. It's 7 weeks. You can do anything for 7 weeks.
Why do you think our approach works so well? Why do you think people have such success with the Wellness Challenge 360?
I think you hit it on the nose before. The group support. There's somebody to ask a question to.
And you're so knowledgeable, and Casey Finn McGowan is so knowledgeable. You bring so much information to the class. So I always feel like when you're armed with knowledge about how to be your healthiest self, it's hard to kind of go backwards once you have that information about how detrimental certain things are. It's hard to kind of go back to that. So it's really enlightening. I find you've so many great insights and information to share.
One of the things I say is that once you know this, once I know it, I can't ignore it. You can't go back. And I guess you could choose to ignore it, but it doesn't erase the fact that that this correlation, that the correlation with a plant-based diet makes you feel better, makes you healthier, makes you live longer.
I think that's what's so nice is you might be hesitant to do the program, but you come and do it and you feel so much better. And so that's such an incentive to keep going. You know that it does relieve a lot of ailments. It makes you feel really good. And I'm really interested and impressed by the longevity factors in plant-based eating and all of the connections, social connections that are so important. To me, that's so important that we can be on this planet for as long as possible and live healthy lives, into old age.
That's the blue zones.
Yes.
The blue zones are the people in the world, the populations in the world who live routinely into their 90s, many times past 100. And what do they have in common? They have in common that they enjoy sunshine and good sleep, and they have strong social connections. They have low levels of stress.
They have a lot of passions. They're connected to things they love to do, right?
Yes, exactly.
People in their community, loved ones.
Yeah, and they are active. They don't necessarily exercise, like we go to the gym and exercise,
right,
but they're very active. And they have two dietary common grounds. They eat at least 95% of their calories from whole natural plant foods. And the one that I love is that they eat beans every day. So that's great for promoting a plant-based diet, and especially beans.
Yeah.
So
any last words of wisdom, Peggy, just to round up your 50th class? And I just want to say personally how many people, I work with a lot of the participants, and how many people come to me and just speak so highly about you. You're like the guru, the plant-based guru around our community, because you've helped so many people and people are so grateful, and it's always just so heartwarming to see the results that people get, and that you help them live these really lovely, happy lives.
I love it. I love it. Sometimes it brings me to tears.
Yeah.
But one last parting word.
Yeah.
I would say that this. I can't say I read all the research, but I read a lot of research. So I've done, I follow the research on low carbohydrate diets. I follow the research on whatever it might be. Yeah, exactly. And ketogenic diets, and there's no research like the research behind the plant-based diet. There are in Dr. Michael Greger's book, How Not to Die. That book is got to be close to 700 pages long, and I figured it out, I estimated there are at least 600 referenced articles about plant-based diet, and some of them probably exercise and stress management, but most of them plant-based diet. There's just the research behind this movement is just so strong.
Yeah, so we know it works. There's the science to prove it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. Well, thank you, Peggy. We're so grateful for your 50th Wellness Challenge class. And
Yay! Exactly. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. We love you, Peggy.
Thank you, Sam. I love you.